So according to Mr. Vuyo Zungula, he still believes that the progressive caucus is still intact, and there's a very high possibility and a high chance in the future that this whole thing between the MK party and the EFF will finally settle down, and these two political parties will come together, will forgive each other, and will work together for a common mission and a common goal. Amen. I don't know. It might happen, it might not happen, only time will tell. But Mr. Vuyo Zungula is one of those people who is stuck in the middle between a rock and a hard place. But it seems like his favorites are the MK party people. That's what I've noticed. But I don't know what you guys are gonna think. I want you guys to hear why he says this. Listen here.
Yeah, good to catch up with you this afternoon. We've talked about the atmosphere. It appears raucous. What are some of the expectations from the MK leaders' address later on today?
That's right, and we've got now ATM leader Vuyo Zungula to speak about the Progressive Caucus a little bit, but let's start off with your message for the Umkhonto weSizwe party as they celebrate their first anniversary.
Our message will be basically to congratulate them for achieving this milestone, but also spreading a message of unity. We've been going to different political party organizations, programs, and some of other political parties have also come to our programs, and there was a dominant theme in the messaging, which is a message to unite so that we work together in order to resolve the problems that we face in our country. We believe that in the 30 years of democracy we've seen, us as a parties, progressive parties being fractured, it weakens our ability to provide or to improve the material conditions of the people. That is why there's a great need for us to unite.
As a smaller party as well, what do you make and what do you think led to the popularity of the Umkhonto weSizwe party? There's lots of debate. Some have called it a Zulu nationalist party. Others have said it's just only the Zuma fact, it's not sustainable. But as someone who would have started a party as well and knows how difficult it is to actually get the vote, what do you think they did right?
Look, it's very difficult to conceptualize how Umkhonto keeps inspiring people. If one can look at how COPE did it, there were many people that joined COPE before the elections. After the elections, people were not joining COPE, but with MK, it is the other way around. Immediately after the elections, people are joining in numbers. So which clearly shows that it is beyond what people are saying. It cannot be true that it is the Zulu National Party. It cannot be true that it is only because of Malema. There's something that is attracting people to MK. And ours as progressive parties, we believe that instead of competing or being jealous about the growth of MK, let's look beyond competition with us as the political parties. Let's look towards collaboration and cooperation so that we work together to improve the material conditions of the people.
Would you say Julius Malema of the EFF is jealous of the growth of the MK party?
Not at all. I don't think he's jealous. I think he's doing a very good job when it comes to EFF. The fact that they hosted a very successful third NPA, which was without fights. When you go to conferences of these parties, there's going to be fights, there's going to be splits, but theirs was pretty successful, which clearly shows that EFF is stronger, EFF is growing, EFF...
Some would say actually it was a predetermined outcome.
No, it's an election. There were people that were nominated and there were people that accepted the nomination. When people decide not to nominate other people and there's no contestation, it does not take away the fact that it was an elective conference whereby there were nominations and people, and the leadership that they have now is the leadership that they've elected.
Mr. Zungula, are you concerned about the state of the Progressive Caucus, both in Parliament and outside, in particular when you look at how, EFF leader Julius Malema has declared the MK party an enemy, whereas, there's been lots of talk, or school of thought that believes that should not actually be the case?
Look, there will always be differences, there will always be hiccups, there's always going to be such challenges whenever you are going to be building such a movement of uniting people. At a basic level, you'll have a husband and a wife, they'll have differences. Even at a party level, even the ATM will have challenges. Now, if you look at 5 different political parties in the Progressive Caucus, there's bound to be challenges there. But what is important is for us not to dwell in the challenges and it ends there. We need to look beyond the challenges and say, how do we resolve the challenges with the view of finding one another so that ultimately we get to serve the people, because the people are not served. There's nothing that the people gain from our infighting or our differences. However, when we unite in order to change the constitution, only then our people serve. So that is a message that we as the ATM we are having, is to say differences are natural, but let's move beyond those differences. Let's resolve those differences, work together so that ultimately abantu who have been crying for the past 30 years can get to live in a different country that can only be brought about by when the parties have united.
Do you see yourself as Vuyo Zungula or the ATM playing somewhat of a mediation role? Yours is one of the parties that isn't necessarily as a result of a fallout from the ANC, whereas you could argue that the MK party is, the EFF is, and so on. What role do you think you can play in terms of bringing then, these fractured organizations together?
Look, Ubaba Ungamalala is a wise elderly statesman. I'm sure in his years of leadership, even pre-1994, the amount of wisdom he's experienced, he's had based on his experience, will enable him to actually sit down with the president of the EFF. Again, president of the EFF, the CIC is also very talented, very experienced politician, who we hope that when the time is right, the 2 leaders will sit down, talk about what's going on with a view of finding one another, because we can't move without the 2 leaders finding each other. And the biggest mistake we can make, it is to delegate the responsibility of mediating them to other people. But they've had tea before, they've sat down on numerous occasions. It is only them that can sit down and provide a solution to what we are witnessing now.
All right, that's Vuyo Zungula from the ATM, of course, here on behalf of the parties that form part of that Progressive Caucus, Hugo, saying that this issue between the MK party and the EFF is possible to be resolved, but the 2 leaders of those respective organizations need to sit down and talk.
So that's Mr. Vuyo Zungula. That's his justification as to why he thinks President Jacob Zuma and the CIC Julius Malema one day will come together, will be working together for a common mission, for a purposeful mission, which I don't know. But yeah, man, you can tell us what you think. Do you think these 2 political parties one day will come together? Do you think it's a lie, it will never happen? What do you think? What do you have to say? Whether you're EFF, your MK party, your ATM, or a regular person who's not supporting this party is watching, what do you say when you hear things like this? People having faith that one day these parties will finally come together and work together. Is it hopeful? Is it a lie? Is it the truth? What are the probabilities? You'll tell us. Thank you very much.